Namaste, you're watching part 7 of book session on autobiography of a yogi. So we know that Yogananda is now with his guru Swami Sri Yukteswar in his ashram in Serampore, and he's also pursuing his university degree at the request of his guru. And we have learned in the last video how Yogananda he experienced some life-changing lessons and got some unmatched divine knowledge from his guru, who is also known as India's Gyan Avatar or incarnation of wisdom. So we now start with today's session. And Swami Sri Yukteswar, he was also an acclaimed astrologer. His knowledge in astrology, it was so deep that he could predict anything with precise accuracy. Swami Sri Yukteswar, he shared that a child is not just born on any day or date, but only when the position of planets and the position of stars are in harmony with reference to the individual's karma, only then the birth happens. This means that the astrological chart or the horoscope, it plays a significant role in everyone's life. And having said that, a horoscope is not everything. For example, if a child's horoscope indicates that a child will be an extraordinary sportsman, but the child doesn't put in the desired efforts and just whiles away his time, then despite having the planets and stars in favor of him of becoming a sportsman, the absence of will or desire will not yield any result. So it is said that astrology, as well as free will which is bestowed by God to every human being, they both play a vital role in determining the future of a person. The life that we are living now, the problems, the challenges that we may be facing in the present life, we only created them in the first place. If not in this lifetime, then in any one of our past lives. It's just that God has created our memory in such a way that most of us do not remember anything from our past lives, and now it's up to us to undo the bad deeds that we did. Yes, this may sound easy, but the good thing is that it all becomes easy when we realize our unity with the divine, when we realize that we are nothing but a soul who's given this body to work out the karma. Friends, Swami Sri Yukteswar, he emphasized on the significance of gemstones. We know that when we go to an astrologer seeking some remedies, then he recommends some gemstones, and these gemstones, they are pure metals that have been formed over thousands of years, enduring a lot of pressure and compressing over time, and they emit an astral light which is powerful in counteracting the negative pulls of the planets. That is the reason why the gemstones like Pukhraj or yellow sapphire are worn for the planet Jupiter, ruby or manik for Sun, and for each planet we have some specific recommended gemstones. And Swami Sri Yukteswar added that for these gemstones to be effective, they should not be less than 2 carats, they should be faultless, that is as much as pure as possible, and they should be touching our skin. So friends, now we know the role of astrology in our lives and also the role of free will which shapes our reality through Swami Sri Yukteswar. Going forward with the book, friends, Yogananda, he had a college roommate named Dijen Babu, and he was ever eager to learn about the truths of life and death, to learn that there must be something greater than the mundane activities of life, that there must be a higher purpose for which every soul is born on earth. And realizing his earnest desire, Yogananda brought his friend to his guru to be initiated into Kriya Yoga. And one afternoon, while both of them were walking towards their guru's ashram in Serampore, where they learned that Swami Sri Yukteswar, he had to leave for Calcutta for some work. And the next day they received a postcard from their guru saying that he will be back on Wednesday morning. And so on Wednesday morning, both of them were ready and were just about to leave for the station to receive their guru when Yogananda received a telepathic message from Sri Yukteswar that he is delayed and that they should not come to the station now. So Yogananda, he immediately shared this message with the Jain Babu that Sri Yukteswar will not be coming now. But the Jain Babu, he refused to believe that receiving a message, and that too telepathically, could even be possible. So he went ahead to the station only to find out that the guru was not on that train. And what happened next, friends, will surely surprise all of us. Just as Yogananda was sitting in his room, a dazzling light appeared, and it was none other than the materialized figure of Sri Yukteswar. Yogananda was baffled to the point of shock. He instantly rose from his feet and touched his Guru's feet. Yogananda was astounded to even utter a word. And just then Sri Yukteswar said that he was pleased that Yogananda received his telepathic message, and he said that he shall arrive in Serampore by the next train. He added that he was divinely commanded to give Yogananda this experience which was rarely known on earth. And so together with Dijen, Yogananda received their master at the station at the said time. And when Yogananda he shared this whole experience of Swami Sri Yukteswar materializing his body and delivering this message, Dijen said some profound words. He said that the university degree for which they are studying is only a kindergarten in comparison to the divine wisdom which their Guru has. And friends, this reality that we know is just a fraction of the reality that exists in the universe and is waiting for us to raise our consciousness that one day we too, like Swami Sri Yukteswar, like Yogananda, will be able to comprehend the subtler realities that coexist. Soon, friends, the day will come when spiritual knowledge will be made an essential part of our learning in schools and colleges. For we know now that it is only this knowledge which helps us in sail through the journey called life. And now let us see what this book has stored next for us. So Yogananda, he had been wanting to visit Kashmir, to witness its beauty, to witness its magnificence since a very long time. And in the past it had happened that twice the trip was planned, but at the last moment their master, that is Swami Sri Yukteswar, he refused to go. But this time Yogananda was too adamant that come what may, he would visit Kashmir with or without the master. So all arrangements were made and railway passes were secured by Yogananda from his father. As we know that Yogananda's father, he was a big official in the Bengal Nagpur railways, and so securing passes from his father was not a difficult task. And now Yogananda along with his friends, he's all excited and they're all ready for their trip to Kashmir. But as feared, master, that is Swami Sri Yukteswar, he refused to go, and so did another disciple. And Yogananda, as a young adolescent, he was rebellious and determined that nothing could deter him this time from going on to this trip. And so he started making efforts to rope in other friends for the trip, but it was futile. His efforts were not yielding any positive results, and most of his friends backed out from going to the trip. And in this process, Yogananda realized that this trip would just not be a success without the blessings of his Guru. And finally, he said that he would not go without his Guru. And immediately after this, friends, Yogananda, he started experiencing some stabbing pain in the stomach, and intense nauseating feeling it engulfed him. He was exhibiting all signs of deadly Asiatic cholera. And Yogananda, he was in extreme pain, and he just said to the master that, Master, I surrender my life to you. And Sri Yukteswar, as a caring and a compassionate mother, he laid Yogananda's head on his lap and stroked his head lovingly. And this was the time when Master revealed that this was the only reason why he refused to go to Kashmir, as he knew that Yogananda would fall gravely ill and it would be difficult for him to take care of him outside the ashram premises. A doctor was called and a blood specimen was taken, and it was confirmed that Yogananda had the deadly Asiatic cholera and that he was saved only and only with the blessings of his Guru Swami Sri Yukteswar. So friends, this was the second time when Yogananda had contracted Asiatic cholera. First, while he was still a young child, and at that time he was miraculously saved by the picture of his family Guru Lahiri Mahasaya, and the second time now he was saved by the grace of his own Guru Swami Sri Yukteswar. And just in 2 days, friends, Yogananda was in the pink of health, and then he requested his Guru to now come to visit Kashmir. And Master happily agreed, as he knew that the time was now just right to visit Kashmir. So Yogananda, his Guru, and 4 other disciples, they all went for this eagerly awaited trip to Kashmir. Their first halt was in Shimla, and a lady there in Shimla, she was selling some English strawberries, and Master bought some strawberries and he offered to Yogananda, and Yogananda, he didn't like the sour taste and distastefully said, "What a sour fruit. I could never like strawberries. And Sri Yukteswar, he laughingly said that you will like them in America at a dinner table when your hostess will serve them with cream and sugar, and after tasting them you will say, what delicious strawberries. And then you will remember this day in Shimla. Years later, friends, Yogananda, he did visit Kashmir, which we will soon learn in the coming videos, and the hostess served strawberries exactly the way that Yogananda's guru had predicted. And Yogananda with joy exclaimed the same words, what delicious strawberries. And at that time, friends, he immediately remembered his guru's prediction made in Shimla for this moment. Friends, the power of Sri Yukteswar is beyond what words can express. It is one thing to predict the events in future and absolutely another thing to predict such events with so much preciseness and detail. And as we learned that Swami Sri Yukteswar, he could not only predict that Yogananda will go to America, but he will also have strawberries there, and then the words that Yogananda will say after having these strawberries. This is so incredible, so amazing, and so beautiful. And friends, in Kashmir, they all saw beautiful scenic spots and spent their days in the mesmerizing valleys of Kashmir. And shortly before their departure, Sri Yukteswar, whose health was picture perfect, he hinted that it was time for him to leave his body. And Yogananda was utterly shocked to hear this, and he implored his guru that without him he cannot carry on with his life. And after spending happy weeks in Kashmir, Yogananda had to depart a little early as his college studies had to resume and he had to attend his university lessons. And then a telegram reached Yogananda that the master was dangerously ill. And immediately Yogananda, he replied with a telegram to master that if you leave your body, he shall also die. And master replied from Kashmir through telegram, be it as you wish. After a few days, master along with other disciples, he returned from Kashmir. Yogananda was too happy to see his master, although Swami Sri Yukteswar's body was reduced to half its usual weight. Friends, Swami Sri Yukteswar's illness in Kashmir was because he took over the karma of his disciples to accelerate them in their path. Not concerning about his own body, about his own health, Swami Sri Yukteswar, he happily and readily accepted the deterioration of his own body, as he knew that he is not his body, and to achieve final salvation in God, it is best that the human body has completely fulfilled its purpose. Going forward with the book, friends, we learn a little more about Yogananda's siblings. We know that Yogananda, they were 8 brothers and sisters, 4 boys and 4 girls. And so we start with learning about Roma, who was Yogananda's eldest sister, and Roma was married to Satish. And although Roma was spiritual and she followed the path of Kriya Yoga, but her husband Satish, he ridiculed Roma's spiritual aspirations and thought only about materialistic things. And Yogananda promised to help her sister, and together they planned a visit to the famous Dakshineshwar temple of Divine Mother, Ma Kali in Calcutta. And on reaching the temple early in the morning, Yogananda, he sat for meditation, and for 5 hours he sat in meditation where he pleaded the Divine Mother to help his brother-in-law Satish. It was at this temple, friends, that Ramakrishna Paramahansa had found his answers, and he got blessings from Ma Kali, where the stone image of Ma Kali, it often turned into a living form and spoke with Ramakrishna Paramahansa. And then it was noon time, and according to the temple rules, the temple doors were closed during this time. And 5 hours had passed and nothing had happened. And Yogananda, he was disheartened that he was not getting any answer from the Divine Mother. And then to his amazement, friends, the temple got magnified and the temple door slowly opened, revealing the stone image of Goddess Kali. And what happened next was the most breathtaking thing that ever happened. The statue of Ma Kali, it changed into a living form. Yogananda pleaded to Goddess Kali to spiritually awaken her sister's husband. Your wish is granted, said the Divine Mother. And all of a sudden his brother-in-law Satish came looking out for Yogananda. And the beautiful panoramic vision of Ma Kali, which lasted for an hour, it disappeared. And Satish was hungry and angry at Yogananda because Yogananda had failed to make any prior arrangements for lunch in the temple. And he challenged Yogananda that you have such an intense belief in the Divine Mother. Now go and ask your Divine Mother to provide food for us. And Yogananda only replied that the Divine Mother will take care of that. And just then, a temple priest came to them and said that although it was against the temple rules to feed those who do not make a request beforehand, but somehow, as if he was guided to put aside food for them when he saw them arriving at the temple in the morning. Satish could not believe what had just happened, and thereafter he was softened in his words and actions. And after having a lavish meal, they all returned back home. And after a few days, Yogananda paid a visit to her sister's home, Roma, and Roma, she thanked her brother for bringing in the miraculous transformation in her husband. And she told that her husband, after taking care of his office work during the daytime, he now devotes his time at the night to meditation. And she further mentioned that Satish was even blessed by a vision of the Divine Mother, and their relationship had taken a new turn, bringing in positivity, joy and bliss. And friends, during this time, Satish, he was also suffering from a serious ailment, and it came to Yogananda that Satish would not live long. And as if her sister Roma read this thought, she said that as a devoted Hindu wife, it cannot be that she is well and her husband is sick. And she said to Yogananda that she will be the first one to die. And exactly after 18 months, while Yogananda was in America, Roma one day dressed in her bridal attire, and she said to her husband that today is going to be the last day of her service as a devoted wife. And shortly thereafter, she had a heart attack and she left her body happily without any sign of suffering. And her husband Satish, he became reclusive after Roma's death, although he was completely cured of his illness. And one day, while looking at Roma's picture, Satish exclaimed that you think you were clever in going before me? I shall prove to you that you cannot remain away from me for long. I shall join you soon. And yes, Satish left his physical body after a few days without any apparent cause. And thus in this way, friends, Yogananda's eldest sister Roma and her husband Satish left their physical bodies. Friends, what we fear the most is the most natural thing to happen to us, and that is death. We fear death because we do not understand the meaning of life. This life which is given to us is an opportunity for us to know God, to find God. And once we realize this truth, we understand that death is just another moment. Steve Jobs' last words were, "Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow," as if he saw this truth that we, while still in our physical bodies, refuse to see. And now moving forward with Autobiography of a Yogi, Yogananda, we know that although he had enrolled himself for his university degree at the instruction of his guru, we also know that Yogananda did not used to spend his time much for his college lectures, for his heart and soul laid with his guru, and most of his time was spent with his guru in his ashram. And now it was time for his final exams after 4 years of college, and Yogananda had no inclination to sit for exams. But Swami Sri Yukteswar, he guided him that he must appear. And with tears in Yogananda's eyes and only 5 days to go for the exams, Yogananda simply said that he has zero preparation, but he will appear for the exams if that is his guru's wish. And he added that he'll simply fill the papers with the teachings of his guru, for that is the only thing he knows. And Swami Sri Yukteswar, he said to Yogananda that Mukunda, which is Yogananda's childhood name, has the Lord ever failed you at an examination or anywhere? And Yogananda warmly replied that no, the Lord has always been with him. And his guru guided him that he should seek the help of Ramesh Chandra, one of the most intelligent students in Yogananda's batch. And just the way as it had happened during his high school exams, we know that Nantu had become an instrument of God to help Yogananda clear his exams. And this time it was Ramesh who helped him. And interestingly, in his Bengali exam, a question came to write on the life of the man who was inspired the most. And Yogananda, he obviously wrote about his Guru and his teachings, filling page after page. And in this way, the words of Yogananda that he would write about his Guru and his teachings also came true. And the most awaited day came when the results were announced and Yogananda was presented with his degree from Calcutta University. And friends, during those days, having a university degree was highly regarded, as not many people were able to achieve this feat. And this is so remarkable, friends. We all know that it would not have been possible for Yogananda to get his college degree had he not had the blessings of the divine and the grace of his Guru. And just like Yogananda, friends, we too can have the blessings of the divine if we follow the path for which we have taken birth. Then the whole universe will come to our rescue and remove any stumbling blocks. And like any other father, Yogananda's father was too happy and too elated for his son's achievements, and Yogananda, he got a job offer to an executive position with the Bengal Nagpur Railways, where his father too worked. But Yogananda, he refused the offer, and he instead requested his Guru to initiate him into a monk of Swami order, which means that Yogananda devotes his entire life to the divine. And Swami Sri Yukteswar was happy to hear that Yogananda's love for God was real, and nothing, absolutely nothing could be more important to Yogananda than God. And a small ceremony was arranged where Swami Sri Yukteswar draped an orange cloth around Mukunda, symbolizing it as a renunciant's robe. And Swami Sri Yukteswar asked Mukunda to select a new name. Yogananda came the reply, and thus in this way the family name of Mukunda Lal Ghosh was left behind, and a new name of Yogananda was henceforth used. Friends, we as human beings have a habit of remembering God only at the time of adversity, that is when we are faced with the problem. But we do not understand that if we do not invite God to be our summer guest, that is, if we do not remember Him during our joyful days, then He won't come in the winter of our life, the time when we need Him the most. So with gratitude in our hearts, if we consciously remember God every moment of our lives, do you think that any negativity, any problem can touch us? And one day while Yogananda was meditating, he got a message that his eldest brother Ananta's lifespan was almost over and he would be soon leaving his physical body. And after a few days, a sudden illness gripped Ananta and he left for the heavenly abode. And Nalini, who was Yogananda's younger sister, she was suffering from an acute illness and she was brought back from death's door by divine healing. She fell sick with typhoid followed by a blood dysentery to a point that there was no blood left in her body to shed. And Yogananda moved heaven and earth with his prayers, and he knew intuitively that her sister would recover in 7 days. And I don't need to mention that exactly this happened. And this is it for today, friends. Join me next week where we will learn about Kriya Yoga, and we will also learn about how do the miracles happen. Till now we have seen so many miracles happening in the book, and in the next video we will learn about the law of miracles, and we will also learn about the mystical Guru, the immortal and the eternal Mahavatar Babaji. Time for the cosmic chant. And today's cosmic chant that we will hear is Desire My Greatest Enemy. And this was Swami Sri Yukteswar's favorite chant, which Yogananda often chanted in his ashram. Namaste. See you next week.
Remaining in the castle of peace, night and or profane pranayama. You won't have to